Now, you mentioned being threatened. What do you think was like the worst time you were threatened, or,
Hmm.
what I'm saying? What was like the biggest offer you've received to keep your mouth shut?
Well, the head of Army Intelligence, General Stubblebine, offered me personally $2 billion in 1992 if I would be quiet. And I, of course, turned it down. I'm not rich, but as a doctor, I didn't need the money. I didn't want the money. And it was a bribery. And then there were things that were very threatening. We had break-ins in our house. We had our computers erased, all the hard drives and software. We had direct threats. But I'm not worried about that at this point. We have good security in place. There are people in these covert programs now that are protecting us. So I'm not worried about that.
Is there any time somebody just really had you scared?
If I were the kind of person who could be scared by that, yes. But I'm just not. I mean, one of the things is that when I was 17, I died. I was very sick and I had a near-death experience. And I was talking to Demi Lovato about this because she had a near-death experience. And it kind of taught me that the conscious field and our consciousness goes on forever. So I just don't have that same kind of view about mortality that I think a lot of people would. So that's part of it. And part of it is, look, I'm a trauma guy. I've been in the ER with people come in with Tech 9s and stick them in my face and, all kinds of, gang fights in the ER and stuff. So, I'm not someone who's going to be like, putting my tail between my leg running because someone threatens me. If they threaten me, I'm going to say, excuse my language, you. And, but that's just me. I'm just not someone that will succumb to intimidation. Unfortunately, though, there are a lot of dirty tricks played. Like there's a top secret witness that we're dealing with right now. And when he started coming forward, he had a couple of guys show up in a black SUV, went to his front door. They said, look at your phone. And they had embedded pornography on his computers and phones and said, you keep your mouth shut or you're going to be in prison for the rest of your life and you're never going to see your two young sons again. Now, that just happened last year, or was it earlier this year? Whatever. But this is the kind of nasty stuff. Now, my view on that is there should be an office in the Department of Justice and FBI that takes a report like that, finds out who did it, and they throw those people in shackles and put them in prison. Why should these heroic men and women that are risking their lives to come forward be intimidated by these thugs? It should be the other way around. But see, the U.S. government has not yet stood up that kind of law enforcement around this because they're just now beginning to awaken to the fact this is an issue. So in the meanwhile, I just tell people just ignore that stuff and let me know about it, and we'll expose it for the dirty tricks that it is. But, look, when you're dealing with this level of corruption, to give you an idea how bad it is, there's the chairman of a major corporation. If I said the name of it, everyone listening would know what it is. And he's reached out. He's retired. And when he started reaching out, he was told, we will kill you and your entire family. So, because he was holding really important stuff, documents, proof, energy, free energy. And I said, yeah, well, here's the problem with that. I think they won't do it, but they're going to try to intimidate you that they will. But the other part of the problem is that because of his position, he has a few $100 million in assets that were probably a lot of them due to some of these illegally run projects that were inside this corporation. And he doesn't want to lose that either. But his big concern is safety. So this is why I'm asking members of Congress. I just recently, I think about 10 days ago, had a meeting with Congresswoman Luna, who's on the House Oversight Committee, and said, look, we need witness protection for some of these high-value whistleblowers, and we also need protection from their assets so that they can come forward and not be penalized for wanting to tell the truth to Congress, but also to the American people. So again, those are things that are pending. I don't know if we're going to get those this year. I do think we'll get the amnesty period, and we've already gotten the pathway for people with their clearances and their non-disclosure agreements to testify at this Pentagon office. But it really needs to be kicked up to a much higher level now, now that the Congress has seen enough of the smoke and fire that they know it's real. That's why you're seeing these hearings.
Have you ever had any of your whistleblowers killed?
Back before I had the security that we have now in place. So prior to 1998, yeah, there were 3 of us that got killed. I was almost killed. I had an assistant killed, and there was a former CI director who was helping us who was killed. His name is Bill Colby. And CI Director Colby was going to hand off one of these 0-point energy, free energy devices and around $50 million in seed money so we could get it out, because he was old and retired, and he knew what a disaster and regretted this being kept secret, just like the chairman of this major corporation he very much regrets what they've done. And that's why we need to protect those people and have them come forward. But at that time, we didn't have what we have in place now. And they made it look like he was found in the water south of D.C. and made it look like a canoeing accident, the CI Director Colby. But his best friend, who was a full bird colonel, came to me and said, they got him. It's a wet works. Wet works is a CI term for wet from blood assassinations, targeted killings. But that has not happened since 98. And I don't see any evidence we need to worry about that. But they will try to intimidate witnesses. But witness intimidation and setting up false entrapment, those are felonies. And so when anybody who reaches out to me says this has started happening, why I should be able to have a hotline straight to the FBI that deploys a field office that protects these people. But see, that's not in place yet. And that's what I'm pushing hard, because I think these men and women they're really heroic. I mean, they're very brave and they're scared. And so we owe them the most we can do to protect them. And I have good people who protect me now. And that protection extends to these whistleblowers, but they're afraid for unsanctioned actions, or like this one man, he had to sign a 80-year non-disclosure agreement. He was in his 50s or late 40s. And he was 10 years in a very top secret project dealing directly with this issue and the extraterrestrial craft, all of it. But in that document he signed, it said that if you disclose this, you will have no pensions, you can be imprisoned. And so he's afraid. So we need to put some things in place where these sort of men and women can be properly protected, where the law is explicitly protecting them, and where if it's federal marshal or whatever witness protection services are stood up around them.
What's up? This is Capone. We got more content like this coming soon, so hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in to Capone News.